What's good? What's good? What's going on, y'all? It's your boy J Hamp. Hope everybody out there doing good. So, the question I want to talk about real quick today and was on my mind, um, and it's actually a conversation I've definitely had with. I've had this conversation with my wife. I've had this conversation with some of my homegirls. I've had this conversation with people like over the years, actually, and it's basically this: why does it seem like there's so many more black women in church and compared to black men? Why are there not more black men in church? Everybody know, we all know that the church in the African American community, so-called African American community, is predominantly mostly uh it's more densely populated with so-called black women, right? We all know that. Now, in positions of leadership, in some and not all churches, you might have more, black male pastors and stuff like that. But as far as like the population of the congregation, if you were to come in and do, count the numbers, you would find there are more black women worshipers than black men worshipers, right? And so yeah, so we need to think about that. Like, why is that? Why is that? Now a closed-minded person, I ain't gonna say closed-minded, but just a simple-minded person. I say simple-minded, whatever. Don't take no offense to it. A simple-minded person would just say, well, it's easy. That's because black women just worship more than black men. Like, black women are just more full of the spirit, more on fire for the Lord, and that's why you find the churches packed with black women. Okay. So the flip side of that would be if you were to say that's the answer, then what you also inherently saying is black men aren't on fire for the Lord. Black men aren't um you know full of praise and worship like that. That's what you're saying if you were to say that. And that's what I'm gonna spend most of my time talking about and talking to, because like I couldn't disagree more with that. And what I found is people who actually will sit there and think and do some more critical thinking about that question, they won't straight go to that either, because that's really kind of a self-aggrandizing, kind of self-exalting answer that's not really giving it its due diligence and proper thought, because this is important. So I'm gonna ask you a question. If would you, as a woman, go into a store that only sells clothes for men and you're looking to buy clothes for yourself? Let me ask that question again. Would you, as a woman, go into a store that markets, advertises, and sells clothes for men and you are looking to buy clothes for yourself? You probably wouldn't. You would be wasting your time. You'd be wasting your time. Why would you go into a store that sells clothes for men and you looking to buy clothes for yourself and you're a woman? I asked that question to kind of paint an analogy of like this is a lot of what the church has become, unfortunately. Unfortunately, and I grew up in church. I'm not speaking from I'm not speaking from something I think, and this is my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion, but I'm not speaking from nothing I heard or what I think. I'm speaking from what I see firsthand, from growing up in church my whole life, from a boy to a teenager to a man. The church do not speak to black men. The church don't speak to black men. The church is not being good fishers of men. And what I mean by that is it's not just that black women are just so full of praise and worship and black men aren't. It's black men are not getting. There's something tugging at our hearts, pulling at our hearts that we not getting in church. And from the ministries at the church to the Bible studies, to the teachings, to the sermons, to everything, it's more catered and packaged to please and pull in women than it is men. Men are looking for wisdom. Men are looking for practical, common sense things that they can take from the church to then apply to their day-to-day life. Men are looking for manliness, manhood, masculinity in Yahusha, and they're not finding it. They're not finding it because all of the scriptures and all of the sermons are more, or the majority, not all, are more emotionally charged, emotionally driven, and not really speaking to the characters and the qualities of manhood and showing you what a man Yahusha was, showing you what a man David was, Saul was, Joshua was, Isaiah was, showing you the characteristics of our Father Yah, how the word says Adonai is a man of war, Yahuwah is his name. We just don't speak to none of that. We don't speak to none of that. It's this effeminate version of Christ that gets put up on the pedestal, and you don't hear enough sermons, enough messages, enough teachings that speak to what men need to hear about the men in the Bible. And what it means to be a man. David told Solomon before he passed away, he said, show yourself a man and follow the law, statutes, and commandments and walk in them as I have of the Most High. He told him he told him before he died, that's what it meant to be a man. Now, how many sermons you heard about that in church? Not only that, even like I said, we got the cake ministry, we got the quilt ministry, we got the women's ministry, we got all these different ministries, but we don't have enough ministries that speak. Or it'd be like one ministry that might speak to the men in the church. One ministry. And even from the sermons, like right in the sermons and in the messages that we hear, men want to learn, yo. I want to hear something that when I hear, I can take it. I want to hear some practical, common sense stuff that I can then take back to my day-to-day walk in life and apply it there. You know why? And if you never heard him, you should look him up right after you finish watching this. You know why the late Pastor Stephen Darby is so popular? Because he teaches the word. He enables you to take the word and grow and mature and learn things, like literally learn skills that we are supposed to learn about in church, but we don't learn. And we can learn them straight from the word, but we spend so much time, the Lord said, and all that. All that. Like, you know what I mean? And it's all this emotionally charged rhetoric almost seem like sometimes, but it's never no teaching. It's never no teaching about spiritual warfare. It's never no teaching about dreams. It's never no teaching about how to cast out unclean spirit. It's never no teaching about how to break a stronghold and how to, how to unleash your spiritual gifts. It's not teaching about who we are. It's not teachings about the Sabbath. It's not teaching. We staying on milk. We stay stuck on this milk, and men looking for some meat. And so I say all that to say, and like I said, this ain't gonna be a long video, but I say all that to say, don't think that men are not on fire for y'all. Men are on fire for y'all. Men are on fire for Yahushua HaMashiach. Maybe we just worship and praise differently. David's praise and worship is legendary. Whole book of Psalms is his love letter to Yahuwah, But what I feel like happens is, because men don't praise and worship maybe the same way that women do, then we may be looked at as like, okay, men just don't praise and worship or something like that, or are not interested, or kind of, just have an apathetic view towards it. And that's not it at all. Like I said, if you, and ladies, if any ladies watching this, ask your husband, ask your boyfriend, ask your son, just ask the question before you just say something. Ask the question and listen to what they're saying. The church has got to improve and do a better job of becoming fishers of men, speaking to the things that men are dealing with, and being ambassadors of Christ in a way that is fishing for men. And you will see, in my opinion, an increase, because what happens is a lot of times these men, they get into, Islam or the Muslim community, because stuff like, whether it's the fruit of Islam or the teachings or whatever, how they do things over there, it speaks to men. It speaks to them. They can get that. And there's they're looking for men. And so then we get mad at that community because we feel like all of the men going over there. But what is the church doing to speak to men, to bring them into Yahusha, bring them into the truth of who we are as Israelites, bring them into the truth of the word. You know what I'm saying? About the Torah and the faith in Yahusha. What are we doing? So just don't get mad because you see all the men going over here. They're speaking to them. They're there. But a lot of times I feel like we don't listen. We're not listening to what the men are saying. And to just take the idea, the notion to say like, oh, men just don't want to worship, that's why there are more black women than black men is nuts. I can't get with that. So just think about it and talk to your brothers, talk to the men around you in your inner circle and see what they got to say about this, because, I feel like a lot of times, and, it's crazy. I'll tell you my own personal thing. When I started getting into the truth about who I am and the lies of Christianity, and getting into the truth of my Israelite identity, I was out of organized church for about 2 years, right? But in that whole time, I probably had some of the most spiritual praise and worship that I've ever had, and most intimate moments with y'all. But that doesn't mean I've given up on the church. You know what I'm saying? I'll never give up on the church. But the church does need some reformation. The church can improve. See, the same way that Yah disciplines us because he loves us and accepts us as sons and daughters, it's okay for us to look at the things that need improving in the church and want to improve them without church taking offense, if there needs to be some rebuke and reproof. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think it is, man. That's what I think it is. Drop some comments. Let me know what you think. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. I'm out. Stay tuned for the next one.